The ballroom of the St. Regis is drowning in gold leaf and bad champagne. Crystal chandeliers scatter light like broken glass across 500 faces. All of them turn Tawa RD, the elevated dais where my uncle, Gerald Vance, stands at the podium. He adjusts his cufflinks, smiles. The man has worn that same smile for 30 years. Benevolent, fatherly, and absolutely false. That I stand at the back of the room. In A are the service entrance. My tie is too tight. My shoes a repolished, but the soles a re-worn thin from 3 months of walking the financial district at 5 a.m. I am 32 years old. I have a master's degree in quantitative finance from Wharton. I have spent the last 6 years building a risk model that saved this firm $47 million RS in the fourth quarter alone. And tonight, my uncle is about to promote his son, my cousin, Derek, to the position I was promised. The announcement comes at 8:47 p.m. Gerald taps the microphone. The room hushes. Ladies and gentlemen, he says, voice smooth as aged bourbon. It is my distinct honor to introduce the new head of global strategy, my son, Derek Vance. Applause. Polite. Measured. The kind of applause you give a man who has never worked a Saturday in his life. Derek steps 4-way road blonde. Tanned. His suit costs more than my first CAR. He waves like he's already won an election. Thank you, Dad, he says, and the room laughs because they think it's charming. I promise to lead this team with vision and integrity. Vision. Integrity. He cannot read a balance sheet without calling his father for help. I feel the heat crawl up my spine. My hands at my sides. I do not clap. I do not move. Gerald's eyes find me in the crowd. He knows exactly where I am. He holds my gaze for a fraction of a second, then turns back to the audience. Of course, we couldn't have done this without the hard work of everyone in the trenches. Especially my nephew, Ethan. He says my name like he's dropping a coin in a beg AR's cup. A few heads turn. People remember the rumors that I was next in line, that the old man had signed a succession letter years ago. But Gerald buried that letter. I know because I saw it shredded in his office trash can 3 weeks ago. Ethan has been a valuable member of our analytics division, Gerald continues. But as we grow, we need fresh leadership. New energy. He pats Derek on the shoulder. Blood, after all, is thicker than water. The room chuckles. I do not. I step 4-way road. 1 step. 2. The crowd RTS slightly, sensing something unscripted. Gerald's smile tightens by a millimeter. Uncle Gerald, I say, and my voice rise because the room has gone quiet. You promised me this promotion. In writing. 2 years ago. Derek scoffs. Loud. Performative. Ethan, come on. Don't do this here. You're EMBA rassing yourself. I look at him. He is 10 years younger than me. He has never closed a deal. He has never pulled an all-nighter in the data center. He once asked me what EBITDA stood for last month in a meeting with the CFO. I'm not EMBA rassing myself, I say. I'm stating facts. Gerald steps between us. He puts a hand on my shoulder. Squeezes. HA Road. Ethan, son, let's talk about this privately. This isn't the time or place. I shake his hand off. The gesture is small, but the room feels it. A ripple of whispers. Phones come out. Someone is recording. The time is now, I say. The place is here. Because you made it a public spectacle when you handed my job to a man who can't even run a pivot table. Derek's face goes red. That's a lie. Is it? I pull a folded sheet from my inner pocket. A printout. Emails. Dates. Times. You asked me to build your quarterly presentation last week. I did. You presented it as your own. The BOA RD praised your SHA RP analytical insights. Those insights were mine. Gerald's jaw tightens. Ethan, we can resolve this internally. Resolve what? I spread my ARMS. The 6 years of overtime I logged while Derek was in Cancun, the 3 successful product launches, IA architecture that you put his name on, the client retention numbers that you told the BOA RD were a team effort, but were actually my solo project. The room is silent. 500 people. Not a single cough. Gerald leans in. His voice drops to a whisper meant only for me. You have no proof. You sign non-disclosures. You're nothing without this firm, and you know it. Walk away now, and I'll give you a severance package. Stay, and I'll destroy you. I look at him. This man who took me in after my parents died. Who promised me a future. Who treated me like a son until his actual son needed a leg up. You already destroyed me. I say. You just don't know it yet. I turn and walk back to the service entrance. The crowd watches. Derek smirks. Gerald smooths his tie and returns to the podium, making a joke about family disagreements. I push through the double doors into the hallway. My hands are shaking. Not from fear, from controlled, because I have been waiting for this night for 3 months. And I have everything. 3 months ago, I found the first piece that it was a Tuesday. 2 a.m. I was the only one left on the 47th floor. The cleaning crew had already come and gone. I was finishing a stress test on the European derivatives portfolio when my system flagged an anomaly, an override code accessed from Gerald's terminal at 11:47 p.m. the previous Friday that I pulled the logs. The override rerouted a $2.3 million bonus pool from the analytics division to a shell account in the Cayman Islands. The account was registered under a holding company called Redwood Strategies. Redwood's sole signatory was Derek Vance. I sat in the day RK. The monitors glowed blue. I watched the numbers shift and realized I was STA ring at embezzlement. Not petty theft. Systematic, long-term fraud. Gerald had been siphoning funds for IRS, using his position to create phantom vendors and fake consulting contracts. The money went into accounts that eventually flowed to Derek, to his penthouse, his sports EAR, his failed STA retup that somehow never ran out of capital that I did not confront Gerald. I did not go to HR. I did not even tell my girlfriend, who left me 2 weeks later because I was too distant. Instead, I STA root copying files every night. I stayed until 3 a.m. I accessed the SHA-RED drives. I pulled email chains. I decrypted password-protected spreadsheets using a brute force tool I coded myself. I found the shredded succession letter, pieced it back together digitally from fragments in the recycle bin. I found the offshore accounts. I found the kickback scheme with the vendor that supplied our office furniture. I found the secret that the secret was this. Gerald had been planning to retire in 18 months. The succession plan named me as his replacement. But Derek needed a title, a legitimate title, to secure a loan for his real estate development project. Without head of global strategy, the bank would not approve the financing. So Gerald pulled the letter, shredded it, replaced it with a new one that named Derek. And he buried the old letter. But he did not destroy the digital trail that I spent 11 nights reconstructing it. Timestamps. Signatures. The metadata that proved the original document existed. I cross-referenced it with Derek's loan application. I found the banker's emails. I found the promise of a future executive position that was dangled to secure the approval. Then I found the wire transfers. $300,000 RS. 400. 1.2 million. All moving from firm accounts to Redwood Strategies, then to Derek's personal account, then back to the firm as consulting fees that were never billed for actual work. I printed everything. I stored copies on 3 SEPA RAID external drives. I kept one at home, one in a safety deposit box, and one in my office, in a hidden compartment behind the filing cabinet that I did not tell anyone. I did not threaten. I waited. Because I knew the promotion announcement was coming. Gerald could not resist the spectacle. He loved ceremonies. He loved the look of power, the feel of a room turning its eyes to him. He would announce Derek publicly, and I would be standing in the back, invisible and patient, watching the trap close. The night before the gala, I reviewed every file one last time. My APA remit was cold. I had not turned on the heat in weeks. I sat at my kitchen table with a glass of water and a manila folder thick as a phone book that I did not sleep. I went to the gala at 7 p.m. I stood NEA or the service entrance. I watched Derek arrive with his trophy girlfriend. I watched Gerald kiss cheeks and shake hands. I watched the BOA RD members, 3 men, 2 women, slap Derek on the back like he had accomplished something. At 8:47, the announcement. At 8:52, I stepped 4-way road, and at 8:56, I walked out the double doors with the weight of a corporate execution in my coat pocket. The hallway is empty. The gala continues behind me, muffled laughter and the clink of glasses. I lean against the wall. My heart is pounding, but my hands are re-steady. I pull out my phone. I have a contact saved under B. That is Brian Ackerman, the CEO. Not Gerald. Not the BOA Road. The man who signs the checks. I type a message. I have documents. Meet me in your office. Now. 3 app AR. Then, come up. Back in trance. I push off the wall and head for the elevator. The ride to the 52nd floor takes 47 seconds. I count them. The elevator hums. The doors slide open onto a corridor of polished marble and closed doors. The back entrance to Brian's office is UNMA Riked, just a plain wooden door at the end of the hall. I knock. 2 quick raps. The door swings open. Brian Ackerman stands on the other side, still in his tuxedo, his bow tie loosened. He steps aside and gestures me in. The office is immense, all glass and steel, the city sprawling beneath us like a circuit boa RD. He closes the door behind me. Talk. He says that I set the manila folder on his desk. The thud is louder than I expected. Gerald Vance has been embezzling from this firm for 4 years. Total, $7.8 million. He used shell accounts, fake vendors, and his son as the beneficiary. I have the evidence. Brian does not sit. He stands over the folder, STA ring at it. Then he looks at me. His face is unreadable. Show me. I open the folder. I lay out the pages in order. The first wire transfer. The first shell account. The first email where Gerald instructed the finance department to expedite a payment to a non-existent vendor. I lay out the metadata from the shredded succession letter. I lay out Derek's loan application, falsely inflated, signed by his own hand. Brian picks up each page. He reads in silence. His jaw tightens incrementally with every sheet. You've been sitting on this for 3 months, he says. I've been building the case for 3 months. Tonight was the announcement. He made it public. So I made this public. Brian sets down the papers. He walks to the window. His back is to me. You know what this means. Gerald is my friend. 30 years. Gerald is a thief. He stole from your company. He stole from your shari holders. He stole from me. Brian turns. His eyes are cold. And you want me to fire him. Tonight. I want you to do what's right. The evidence is there. The police will be involved regardless. If you act first, you control the narrative. If you wait, the press will control it for you. He sta residential at me for a long moment. Then he walks to his desk. He picks up the phone. He dials a number. Security, he says. I need a team at the gala ballroom. Gerald Vance and Derek Vance. Detain them quietly. Bring them to the conference room on the 3rd floor. Do not let them leave. He hangs up. He looks at me. You stay here. You don't talk to anyone. You don't leave this office until I come back. I nod. Brian walks out. I am alone. The city glitters below me. The office hums with the quiet whir of servers and climate control. I stand at the window. I watch the traffic crawl along the bridge. I do not move. Minutes pass. Maybe 10. Maybe 20. I lose track. Then the door opens. Brian walks in. His face is pale. He holds a tablet. He sets it on the desk and turns it toward me. The screen shows the gala ballroom. Chaos. Guests standing, chairs overturned. Gerald is being escorted out by 2 security guards. He is shouting. Derek is behind him, hands cuffed behind his back. Derek's girlfriend is crying. Someone is filming on their phone. Brian taps the tablet. The audio comes through. You can't do this. I built this company. I have rights. Gerald's voice is high and cracked. The smooth bourbon tone is gone. Brian taps again. The video goes silent. He looks at me. He's asking for you. Says he wants to talk to you. Says you'll regret this. I do not respond. I told him no, Brian says. I told him he'll be speaking to the police. And then to his lawyer. He sits down across from me. He folds his hands. You have a job here, he says. Not the job Gerald promised you, but a job. You'll be interim head of global strategy while we conduct the investigation. We'll talk about permanent placement after the dust settles. I look at him. I do not smile. I do not thank him. I want full access. I say. Every file. Every account. Every transaction from the past 5 years. I want to know how deep this goes. Brian's eyes narrow. You think there's more? I know there is. Gerald didn't work alone. He had help. People who looked the other way. People who profited. I want every name. Brian is quiet. The city hums below us. The tablet screen goes to arcade. Fine, he says. You'll have it. But you answer to me. No one else. Agreed. He stands. He extends his hand. I take it. Welcome to the executive floor. He says that I do not respond. I turn and walk to the door. Outside, the hallway is empty. The elevator doors open. I step inside. The doors close. The CAR descends. I look at my reflection in the polished steel. My face is calm. My hands are still. My pulse is steady. I have won the first battle. But the war is only beginning. The CEO's office is on the 52nd floor. It has floor-to-ceiling windows that overlook the city, a desk the size of a small car, and a silence that makes every footstep sound like a gunshot. Brian Ackerman is waiting. He is 64, gray-haired, with the kind of face that has seen every trick in corporate America. He does not smile when I walk in. He does not offer me a drink. Ethan, he says. Sit. I sit. I place the manila folder on his desk. The thud is heavier than paper should be. What is this, he asks. Evidence, I say. Gerald Vance has been embezzling from the firm for the past 4 years. Total sum, $7.8 million Rs. He rerouted bonuses, created fake vendor accounts, and laundered the money through a shell company to his son, Derek. Brian Sta residential at me. His expression does not change. He has been CEO for 12 years. He has fired 3 executives. He knows when someone is lying. You have proof. I open the folder. I lay out the printouts in chronological order. The first wire transfer. The first shell account. The first email where Gerald instructed the finance department to expedite payment to a vendor that did not exist. Brian picks up the top page. He reads. His jaw tightens. Why are you bringing this to me now? Because Gerald just announced Derek as head of global strategy. The position I was promised. The position he shredded my succession letter to give to his son. Brian's eyes flick to the second page. The reconstructed succession letter. The metadata timestamps. The original signature from 2 years ago. He shredded this. He tried. I pieced it back together. Brian leans back. He exhales. He looks at me with something that might be respect, or might be caution. You waited 3 months to show me this. I waited for the right moment. That moment being the public humiliation of your uncle. The moment being the moment he committed his career to a lie, I say. He announced Derek in front of 500 people. He called it a promotion based on merit. I have emails from Derek asking me to write his quarterly reports. I have performance reviews where Gerald inflated his son's scores. I have bank records that tie both of them to fraud. Brian does not speak for a long moment. He picks up another page. The wire transfers. The Cayman account. The loan application that Derek signed, falsely stating his income was 3 times higher than reality. This is felony level, Brian says quietly. If I take this to the BOA RD, Gerald goes to prison. I know. And your prepper read for that he's your uncle. He raised you. I feel the word in my chest. Raised. Yes. He raised me to be useful. To be quiet. To take the blame when Derek made mistakes. He taught me to work hard and expect nothing. He taught me that family meant sacrifice. My sacrifice, his gain. He made his choices, I say. I'm just handing you the evidence. What you do with it is your decision. Brian looks at me. He knows I am not offering him a choice. I am offering him a weapon. If he uses it, he cleans house. If he does not, I go to the press. I have already drafted the email to the Wall Street Journal. It is sitting in my drafts folder, scheduled to send at midnight. He does not know that. But he suspects that I stay here, Brian says. He stands. He walks to the door. He pauses. Don't leave this office. He disappears into the hallway. I am alone. The city lights twinkle below. I count the seconds. 60. 120. 2 minutes that the door opens. Brian returns. He is holding a tablet. He sets it on the desk in front of me. The screen shows a live feed from the gala. Gerald is still at the podium. He is telling a joke. The room is laughing. Derek is beside him, beaming. Brian taps the tablet. A number dials. The room's audio floods the office. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian's voice says through the gala speakers, I need your attention. The room quiets. Gerald turns. He sees the CEO on the giant screen behind the stage. The tablet camera is broadcasting Brian's face to the entire ballroom. I have just received credible evidence of systematic financial fraud within this firm, Brian says. The evidence implicates Gerald Vance and Derek Vance. The room gasps. Gerald's face goes white. Derek stumbles back way road. Security will escort both of them from the premises immediately. Brian continues. All promotions rescinded pending a full investigation. Thank you for your cooperation. The feed cuts. Gerald is shouting. Derek is screaming at the guardias. The room erupts into chaos. I watch it all from the 52nd floor. My hands still steady. Brian turns to me. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Yes, I say. I have the original HRD drives. I have password-protected archives. I have the metadata that proves every document is authentic. I will testify. I will provide everything. Brian nods. He extends his hand. I take it. You're clean, he says. You're also the new head of global strategy. Effective immediately. I do not smile. I do not thank him. I just nod that the door closes behind me. I walk to the elevator. In the mirrored walls, I see my own reflection. Tired, pale, but utterly calm that the elevator descends. I pass the gala floor. The doors open. I hear shouting. I hear Derek crying. I hear Gerald calling my name in a voice that is no longer smooth, no longer controlled. Ethan, Ethan, please. I do not look back. I walk through the lobby, past the security guards, past the reporters who are already gathering outside. I step into the cold night air. The city hums around me. I reach into my pocket. I pull out the burner phone with the draft email still unsent. I delete it, then I walk home in the rain. And I do not speak a single word for the rest of the night. That the office is different at dawn. No champagne. No hollow laughter. Just the whir of server racks and the distant groan of the cleaning crew vacuuming the 47th floor. That I arrive at 5:47 a.m. The security guard at the front desk recognizes me now. He does not smile. He just nods and waves me through. My desk is still in the analytics bullpen. A half-empty coffee cup sits beside my keyboard. Road. The monitor is dark. I slide my ID badge across the reader and wait for the login screen to flicker to life. I do not check emails. I do not open news sites. I open the Red drive and start pulling every file I flagged during the 3 months of surveillance. That I work in silence for 4 hours. By 10 a.m., I have compiled a second dossier. This one is smaller, only 30 pages, but it contains the names of every manager who helped Gerald cover his tracks, the assistant who forged invoices, the IT director who disabled the audit logs on certain accounts, the HR liaison who deleted Derek's disciplinary records. I cross-reference names, dates, IP addresses. I find the pattern. Gerald built a network. Not just Derek. He had allies, people who owed him favors, or who were paid to look the other way. Some were old friends from business school. Some were junior employees he had promoted too quickly, too high, too soon. They knew about the fraud. They did not report it. Some of them even profited. I separate their names into 3 columns. Witness, complicit, architect. Architect is Gerald. Complicit is Derek. Witness is everyone else. By noon, the office is stirring. People walk past my cubicle. They glance at me. Some avert their eyes. Others read too long, like they are trying to read the verdict on my face. I ignore them. At 12:15, Brian Ackerman's assistant ARS. She is tall, sharp, dressed in black. She places a sealed envelope on my desk. The CEO requests your presence at the BOA-RD meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m., she says. Bring all materials. I open the envelope. Inside is a temporary access card to the executive floor. My new office number, 5204. The key is a magnetic strip with my name printed in silver lettering. I slide the card into my pocket. I do not move. The assistant hesitates. Mr. Vance, Ethan, the BOA-RD is our of your contributions. They are grateful. Grateful, I repeat. She flinches. She does not correct herself. She turns and walks away. I return to the dossier. I add 3 more names. I cross-check the payroll records. I find the bonus adjustments that Gerald approved for his inner circle. The numbers match the kickback percentages. At 2 p.m., I receive a text from an unknown number. It is a single image, a screenshot of my uncle's mugshot. He was arrested at 1:30 a.m. outside the St. Regis. His eyes are red. His tie is undone. The police report is attached. Charges include grand larceny, fraud, and money laundering. The text message below the image reads, "He's already talking. He's offering to give up Derek for a reduced sentence." I delete the message. I do not respond. At 3 p.m., Derek Vance walks into the analytics bullpen. He looks different. The tan is gone, replaced by a pale, blotchy flush. His suit is wrinkled. His hair is uncombed. He is not wearing a tie. Everyone in the room stops typing. The hum of conversation dies. Derek walks directly to my cubicle. He leans over the partition. His breath smells like whiskey. You did this, he whispers. You planned this. I do not look up. You committed fraud. I didn't. Dad made me. He said it was just accounting. He said it was a temporary loan. You signed the documents. You're my cousin. I look at him then. He is crying. Real TRS. They cut tracks through his makeup. He looks younger than 32. He looks like the spoiled kid who used to break my toys and tell our mother that I did it. You had every chance to say no, I say. You didn't. You took the money. You took the title. You took everything I worked for. He grabs the partition. His knuckles are white. I'll lose everything. The house. The CAR. She's going to leave me. I close the dossier. I stand. I am taller than him now. I don't think he ever realized that. You should have thought about that before you asked your father to shred my succession letter. He opens his mouth. Closes it. Something in his face shifts. Fear turns to angered. You think you've won, he spits. You think the board is going to trust you. You're the one who brought down the family. You're the snake. They're going to watch you. Every move. Every decision. They'll never promote you past this. You'll be the guy who ratted out his own blood. For the rest of your career. I let him finish. Then I pick up the second dossier. The one with the names of the complicit managers. I open it to the page with Derek's name. You signed a loan application that falsely stated your income. I say. That's bank fraud. Federal. You used your father's position to intimidate junior analysts into falsifying reports. That's coercion. You personally approved the transfer of $1.2 million to a shell account under your name. I turn the dossier around. I point to the numbers, the dates, the signatures. You're not just fired, I say. You're going to prison. And unlike your father, you don't have any leverage to give up. You were the beneficiary. You were the final recipient. Derek's face goes gray. His hands drop from the partition. He backs away to, I'm going to call my lawyer, he says. Good. I say. Tell him to bring his criminal defense binder. He'll need it. Derek turns and walks out of the bullpen. He does not look back. The door swings shut behind him. I sit back down. I open the Shared drive. I resume my work. Around me, the office slowly returns to normal. Typing. Phones. Whispered conversations. But I feel their eyes on my back. Even now. I do not see a re at 4:30. I close the dossier and stand. I walk to the window at the end of the row. Below, the street is clogged with cabs and delivery trucks. Normal life. Normal people. None of them know what happened inside these walls last night. I think about Derek's face. The TRS. The rage. The moment he realized he had nothing left. I feel nothing. I walk back to my cubicle. I pack my bag. I pick up the second dossier and the temporary access card. The elevator ride to the executive floor is short. The doors open onto a quiet corridor with fresh paint and new repeat. Office 5204 has a brass nameplate already installed. I slide the card across the reader. The lock clicks. I push the door open. The office is bare. No furniture. No decorations. Just a desk, a chair, and a window overlooking the river. I set the dossier on the desk. I sit in the chair. I look out at the water. I do not call anyone. I do not email anyone. I just sit there, in the silence, waiting for the morning. Tomorrow, I face the Boa Road. Tomorrow, I name the names. Tomorrow, I finish what I este route. The Boa Room is a mausoleum of mahogany and leather. 12 chairs around a table that could seat 20. The windows re-tinted so the sun does not re. The air smells like old money and freshly pressed linen. I arrive at 8:55 a.m. I see two suitcases. One contains the Prima Re dossier. The other contains the second Re list, names, dates, IP addresses, the BOA RD members, Re already seated. 8 of them. Brian Ackerman sits at the head. To his left is the CFO, MARGA Red Hollis. She is the one who approved the vendor payments. I have her name in the second Re dossier. She does not look at me when I walk in. I set the suitcases on the table. The thud echoes, "Good morning," I say. No one responds. Brian nods. "Ethan, thank you for coming. We have reviewed the materials you provided. We have additional questions." Ask. MARGA Red Hollis Clea, RS her throat. "The wire transfers you flagged. Some of them were approved by me. I had no knowledge of the shell account. I was told they were legitimate consulting fees. You did not verify the vendors. The vendors were registered with the finance department. The finance department, I say slowly, reported to Gerald. He changed their registration records 3 times in the past year. You did not catch it because you did not check the underlying documentation. She goes still. Her jaw tightens. Brian holds up a hand. We are not here to assign blame. We are here to resolve. We are here to resolve. I repeat. Good. Then let me resolve this. I open the second suitcase. I pull out the 30-page list. I slide it across the table to Brian. These are the names of every individual who either knew about the fraud or actively participated in covering it up. Marga Rhett is on page 7. The room goes silent. Marga Rhett's face pales. Brian reads the list. His expression does not change. He flips page after page. The other BOA RD members shift in their chairs. This is comprehensive, Brian says. I have been monitoring for 3 months. I have timestamps, email chains, and metadata. Every person on that list is either a witness or a co-conspirator. The BOA RD can decide how to handle them. Marga Rhett stands. She pushes her chair back. Road. It scrapes against the floor. This is a SMEAR campaign, she says. He's bitter because he didn't get the promotion. I didn't get the promotion because your fake vendor invoices funded Derek's APA rent. I say. You were complicit. You knew the consulting firm didn't exist. You signed off on every payment because Gerald promised you a shari. That's a lie. I have your emails. You deleted them. I recovered them from the server backup. She sta residential at me. Her mouth is open. She closes it. She looks at Brian. I want a lawyer, she says. You'll have one, Brian says. He waves his hand. Security enters. 2 GWA RDS in navy blazers. They escort Marga Rhett out of the room. The door closes behind her. I turn to the remaining BOA RD members. 6 of them. Brian is still reading the list. This is a problem, Brian says quietly. Half the executive team is implicated. Half the executive team is corrupt, I say. You can clean house now, or you can let it fester and lose the firm to regulators. The evidence is already circulating. The press has the police report. They will dig. If you do not act, they will assume you knew. Brian looks up. His eyes narrowed. You're giving me an ultimatum. I'm giving you the truth. The room is quiet. One of the BOA RD members, a woman named Patricia, Clea RS her throat. Ethan, she says, we are grateful for your efforts. But you must understand the optics. You are a junior analyst who systematically surveilled his superiors. That does not look good to shari holders. I am a junior analyst who saved this firm from a $7.8 million fraud. I say, shari holders see about money. They do not see about optics. They see about results. And the result is that I just handed you the scalpel to cut out the cancer. Patricia says nothing. She looks at Brian. Brian sets down the list. He folds his hands. I recommend we suspend all named individuals pending investigation, he says. Ethan will serve as interim head of global strategy. He will coordinate the internal review. He will report directly to me. The BOA RD votes. It is unanimous. I am not surprised. Brian stands. He extends his hand again. I take it, you have a RD road ahead. He says, I know. The company will back you. I know. He lets go of my hand. He gestures to the door. Your new office is ready. I pick up the 2 suitcases. I walk out of the BOA room. The hallway is lined with executives watching me, the ones who are not on the list. Their faces are a mixture of fear, and admiration that I do not acknowledge them. I walk to office 5204. The door is open. Inside, there is a desk, a chair, and a window with a view of the river. The walls, The shelves, empty. I set the suitcases on the desk. I sit down in the chair. It is comfortable. It is quiet. I look at the river. The water moves slowly. Gray and cold. I do not smile. I do not celebrate. I just sit there in the silence and wait for the next move. Because the fight is not over. It has rely begun. At 10 a.m., my phone buzzes. A text from Brian. Marga Rhett is CU parading. She's giving up names. We have 3 more senior directors involved. I type back. Get them in here. I'll interview them myself. At 11 a.m., the first of them arrives. David Chun, head of operations. 47 years old. He has been with the firm for 20 years. He was Gerald's right hand. He sits across from me. He does not speak. I open the second dossier to his page. You approved the IT overrides that disabled audit logs on Gerald's accounts. You personally deleted records of 3 SEP-A rate wire transfers. You received a bonus increase of $60,000 RS the same week Gerald signed off on a fake vendor contract. David STA res at the desk. I have nothing to say, he says. Then I have nothing to say to you. Security will escort you out. Your termination is effective immediately. Criminal chow ridges will follow. He looks up. His eyes are re-wet. I have a family. So did I say. Gerald was my family. He didn't see a re about that. David stands. He walks to the door. He pauses. You're going to destroy this company. No, I say. I'm going to save it. He leaves. I sit in the silence. The river flows. The city hums. At noon, my phone buzzes again. It is an unknown number. I answered. Ethan, a voice says. It is Gerald. He is calling from a prison phone. The line crackles. I want you to listen to me, he says. You've made your point. You've taken everything. But this isn't over. There are people you don't know about. People who will come for you. Good, I say. Let them come. I hang up. I block the number. I lean back in my chair. I look at the river. The next name is already on the list. The next confrontation is already scheduled. I am not afraid. I am ready. The first resignation comes at 3 p.m. of that same day. The second comes at 4:30. By 6 p.m., 5 senior managers have sent termination letters to HR, citing personal reasons. They do not mention the investigation. They do not mention me. But I see their names cross my inbox, one by one, and I know they are rerunning. I do not approve their severance requests. I forward them to legal. The third wave hits at 8 p.m. My phone buzzes with messages from reporters. The Wall Street Journal has a quote from an anonymous BOA RD member. Someone is leaking details. The story is already online. Vance family scandal rocks financial firm. I do not read the article. I do not need to. I wrote the outline for it 3 weeks ago, just in case that I stay in office 5204 until 10 p.m. I review the second dossier. I flag the people who have not resigned yet, the ones who might try to destroy evidence before the investigation begins. I send a list to Brian. He responds within minutes. Security is sweeping their offices tonight. Cameras, on. We have backup servers. I lean back in the chair. The river is black outside. The city lights reflect on the water like scattered embers. I think about my parents. They died in a car accident when I was 17. Gerald took me in. He told me I would always have a home. He told me I would always have a future. He lied. I think about the moment he shredded the succession letter. I was standing outside his office, waiting to discuss the quarterly results. I saw the paper go into the machine. I saw his face as he watched it vanish. He looked relieved, not guilty, not conflicted, just relieved. That was the moment I stopped being his nephew. That was the moment I became his enemy. I pull out my phone. I have a new contact saved under D. That is Detective S.A. Ra Park. She is the lead investigator on the criminal case. She called me earlier this afternoon. I type a message. Derek is planning to flee. He booked a flight to Zurich at 11 p.m. tomorrow. 3.AR. Then, we'll pick him up at the airport. I delete the message. I put the phone away. At 11:15 p.m., I leave the office. The lobby is empty. The security guard nods as I pass. I walk out into the cold. The air bites my cheeks. I take the subway home. The train is nearly empty. I sit in the corner seat. I do not look at anyone. When I get to my apartment, I do not turn on the lights. I walk to the window. The street below is silent. A single car drives past. Then nothing. I sit on the floor with my back against the wall. I close my eyes. I sleep for 6 hours. It is the first time I have slept without waking up in 3 months. The next morning, I arrive at the office at 6:30 a.m. The building is quiet. The security desk is empty. I swipe my card and walk to the elevator. On the 52nd floor, the lights are already on. Brian is standing outside my office door. Your EARLY. He says, so are you. He hands me a file. Thick. Legal-sized. The police executed a warrant on Gerald's home last night. They found additional hard drives. They're still being processed. I take the file. Any surprises? 3 more shell accounts. 2 in Singapore. 1 in Luxembourg. Total additional funds, roughly 4 million. I nod. I open the file. The documents read dense. Bank statements. Incorporation papers. Transaction logs. Who else was on the accounts? I asked. MARGA Rhett's name app ARS on one of them. David Chin's app ARS on another. Derek's is on all three. I closed the file. They're going to try to cut deals. Turn on each other. Brian nods. That's what they always do. I walk into my office. I set the file on the desk. I sit down. Brian follows. He stands by the window. The BOA RD is nervous. They think you're going to clean out half the executive team. They're worried about the stock price. The stock price will recover, I say. The fraud was the real damage. Removing it is the cure. Brian turns to face me. You have enemies now. People who lost their jobs. People who lost their pensions. People who are going to blame you for their ruined lives. They made their choices. I made mine. Does that make it easier? I look at him. No, but it makes it right. Brian is quiet for a long moment. Then he nods. I'll have the BOA RD meeting rescheduled for tomorrow. We'll approve the terminations. All of them. Good. He walks to the door. He pauses. You know, I never really knew Gerald. Not the real Gerald. He was always polished. Always composed. I never saw the man who could destroy his own nephew. I do not respond. Brian leaves. I sit in the silence. The sun is rising over the river. Orange and gold. The city is waking up. At 9 a.m., my phone buzzes. Detective PARK, he's at the airport, she says. We have a team in place. We're going to take him at the gate. Good. You don't want to be there, no? Fair enough. I'll keep you posted. The line goes dead. I place the phone on the desk. I open the file. ISTART reading. At 10:30, another message. This time from an unknown number. I open it. It is a photo of Gerald. He is in an orange jumpsuit. He is sitting in a holding cell. His face is hollow. His eyes empty. Below the photo is a text. He's been asking about you. He wants to make a deal. Says he'll give up everyone in exchange for a reduced sentence. I type back. I don't make deals with thieves. I delete the number. At noon, I leave my office. I walk to the bullpen. The analytics team is working. They look up when I enter. Some nod. Some STA. I walk to my old cubicle. The coffee cup is still there. The monitor is still the RK. The chair is empty. I stand there for a moment. I look at the space where I spent 6 years. The space where I built the risk model. The space where I planned the takedown. Then I turn and walk away. I return to office 5204. I close the door. I sit down. The river is gray. The sky is gray. The city is loud. I pick up the file. I turn to the next page. There is always another page. There is always another name. And I am always ready. The next morning arrives gray and still. No rain. No wind. Just the heavy silence of a city holding its breath. I arrive at the office at 7 a.m. The security RD at the front desk hands me a sealed envelope. It is from Brian. I open it in the elevator. The letter is brief. Criminal charges filed. Gerald and Derek Ree in custody. MARGA Red Hollis is COO parading with the prosecution. The BOA RD has voted to terminate all remaining implicated staff. Clean sweep. Well done. I fold the letter. I slide it into my coat pocket. The elevator doors open on the 52nd floor. The hallway is quiet. The executive offices empty. The names on the doors have been removed. Plastic covers over the brass plates. I walk to office 5204. I sit down. I open my computer. My inbox is flooded. Media requests, internal memos, emails from colleagues I have never met. I do not read them. I delete them all. I open the Shared drive. The risk model is still there. It has not been touched. No one else knows how to read it. No one else has the keys. I run the model. It takes 45 seconds. The output is unchanged. The European derivatives portfolio is stable. The firm is profitable. The fraud did not impact the bottom line. It just enriched the thieves. I close the program. I sit back in the chair. The river is still gray. The city is still loud. My phone buzzes. I pick it up. It is Detective S.A. Ra PARK. She has sent a photo. Derek Vance, handcuffed, sitting in a holding cell. His eyes hollow. His face is blotchy. He looks like a man who has realized there is no escape. Below the photo is a text. He's asking to see you. Says he has something to tell you. ISTA at the screen. I think about the YRS I spent as his shadow. The YRS I covered for his mistakes. The YRS I stayed quiet, hoping that how RD work would be enough. It never was. I type a reply. I have nothing to say to him. I put the phone down. The office is silent. I look at the empty shelves, the BA walls, the desk that does not belong to me yet, but will, soon enough. That I think about Gerald. He raised me. He trained me. He taught me to be precise, analytical, patient. He taught me that the truth is a weapon you use only when you have already won. He did not know I was Leah Renning. I reach into my drawer. I pull out the original succession letter, the one I reconstructed from the digital fragments. It is pristine, perfect, every signature intact. I hold it in my hands. I look at the date. 2 years ago. A different life. I place it in the shredder on the floor beside my desk. I press the button. The machine chews through the paper. The sound is loud and final. I watch the last piece disappear. Then I turn off the shredder. I stand. I walk to the window. The river is still gray. The city is still loud. The office is still empty. And I am still standing. At 10 a.m., there is a knock at my door. It is Brian. Can I come in? I nod. He steps inside. He closes the door behind him. The BOA RD has approved the final list, he says. All terminations, a effective end of day. We've hired external auditors to review every transaction from the past 5 years. They'll be here next week. Good. He looks at me. You don't seem relieved. I'm not. There's always more. Gerald had connections. He had friends who are rent on the list. Some of them are going to come after me. Some of them are going to try to discredit me. Brian nods slowly. You think there are people outside the firm? I know there are. Gerald made deals with vendors. He made deals with clients. He made deals with people who are rent employees. They're going to be nervous. They're going to try to bury their tracks. And you're going to find them. I'm going to try. Brian walks to the window. He stands beside me. We both look at the river. You know, he says, I've been CEO for 12 years. I've never seen anyone do what you did. You walked into that gala with nothing but a folder. You walked out with the company. I walked out with what I rented. Brian nods. That's what I'm saying. You rented it. But renting it doesn't mean keeping it. The people who are coming after you, they're not going to stop. They're going to dig. They're going to find something. Everyone has secrets. I don't have secrets. Brian looks at me. Everyone has secrets. I do not respond. He stays for another minute. Then he claps me on the shoulder and walks to the door. The BOA RD wants to see you at 3 p.m. They're going to make the appointment official. Interim. Permanent, he says. They want to show the market that there's stability. That the house is clean. I look at him. I'm not interested in being a figurehead. I know. That's why they want you. He leaves. I stand at the window for a long time. The river moves. The city breathes. The sun breaks through the clouds for a moment. Then disappears. At noon, my phone buzzes again. It is the unknown number that sent the photo of Gerald. I answered. Mr. Vance. A voice says. It is male. Calm. Professional. My name is Richard Cole. I represent a group of investors who have concerns about the recent events at your firm. What concerns? The concern that your actions have destabilized the company. The concern that you are not fit to lead. The concern that we may need to take further action. I listen. My grip on the phone does not tighten. You're threatening me. I said, I'm informing you. There are people who lost money because of your investigation. There are people who are going to lose more. They are not happy. Tell them to take it up with Gerald. He's the one who stole their money. A pause. You're making a mistake, Mr. Vance. No, I say. I'm making a decision. I hang up. I block the number. I sit down at my desk. I open a new document. I start typing. I list every name I know. Every vendor. Every client. Every person who might have been in Gerald's network. I cross-reference them with the files in the Prima dossier. I work until 2:45. At 3 p.m., I walk to the BOA room. The doors reopen. The BOA RD members reseated. Brian is at the head. I sit down. Ethan, Brian says, we are prepared to offer you the position of head of global strategy, effective immediately. It is a permanent appointment. Full executive compensation. Full authority over the analytics division. I look at the BOA Patricia. The others. Their faces are wide. I accept. I say. No applause. No celebration. Just a nod from Brian and the scratch of pens on paper. I stand. I walk out of the BOA room. The hallway is empty. I walk back to office 5204. I close the door. I sit down. The river is gray. The city is loud. The office is empty. I open the document I was typing. I add 3 more names. The fight is not over. The war has not ended that I do not know what comes next. I do not know if the Boa RD will trust me. I do not know if I will survive the political fallout. I do not know if the press will turn on me. All I know is that I walked into the gala with nothing and walked out with everything. That all I know is that my uncle is in prison, my cousin is in chains, and I am standing in the corner office he promised me, but never intended to give. That I am 32 years old. I have no family left. I have no allies left. That I have only the truth. And the truth is enough. I turn away from the window. I pick up the phone. I dial Brian Ackerman's private line. He answers on the first ring. Ethan, I want a full review of the Boa RD's compliance protocols. I say, I want access to all financial records from the past decade. And I want the names of every vendor who has ever received a payment without a contract. Silence. Then, you're going to find more. I'm going to find everything. Another pause. I can hear Brian breathing. He is calculating. He is measuring. He is deciding whether to give me the keys to the kingdom. You'll have it by noon. He says. That the line goes dead. I place the phone on the desk. I sit down in the chair. I look at the empty walls. The river flows. The city hums. The office waits. I wait with it. That the story does not end here. There is no closure. There is no victory lap. There is only the next move, the next investigation, the next name on the list. I do not know what I will find. I do not know who I will have to face. But I am ready. I am always ready. That the screen glows. The files load. The numbers shift. I begin again. The phone stays silent for the rest of the afternoon. I sit in the corner office with the river at my feet and the city spread out like a wound. The files reopen. The names relisted. The work is never finished. At 6 p.m., the building empties. The cleaning crew RTS their rounds. The hum of the servers is the only sound. I stand. I walk to the window. I press my palm against the cold glass. Gerald is in a cell. Derek is in a cell. Marga Red is talking. David is talking. The network is collapsing in on itself. Every name I gave to Brian is either fired, arrested, or about to be. I should feel something. Relief. Satisfaction. Vindication. I feel nothing. That the truth is a cold blade. It cuts clean. It does not warm you when you hold it. I think about the gala. The gold leaf. The bad champagne. The moment I stepped forward and watched my uncle's face change. He knew. In that second, he knew I had everything. And he was right. I turned from the window. I look at my desk. The shredder is still plugged in. The fragments of the succession letter in the bin. I could tape them back together. I could reconstruct it again. I do not, if that letter belonged to the past. To the person I was before I Rened. That family is not blood. Family is loyalty. Family is trust. Family is not shredding someone's future so your son can buy a penthouse. I walk to the door. I pause. I look back at the office. The empty walls. The BA reshelves. The chair that will hold me for years to come. I do not know what comes next. I do not know who will try to stop me. I do not know if the Boa RD will turn on me when the dust settles. But I know this. I am still standing. I have the files. I have the proof. I have the truth. And the truth is a weapon that never dulls. I turn off the light. If the office goes to arcade, the river still flows. The city still hums. The fight still waits. I walk out the door. I close it behind me. I do not look back.